Hey people, so we're doing CSQ2. So CSQ2 is going to be from page 86 to 88, I think. Yeah, so we'll run through question by question. So the way you want to do this is the same. Just imagine I'm presenting it just like in class. So I won't send you the slides. Just take down the answers as they come. Okay, so we'll start with A part 1 first. A part 1 is a data response question for CSQ2. They ask you to refer to figure 1. So first thing you want to see is figure 1. So I've actually copied and pasted figure 1 here, right? Describe the trend in the price of oil from 2016 to 2021. So the dashed line is food, right? So you don't really want to see that. What you want to see is a solid line, which is the oil price per barrel. Okay, so they ask you to describe the trend in oil prices from 2016 to 2021. But they give you all the way to 07, so don't get scammed. They just want from 2016 onwards, so you just want to just put 2016 here to 2021, so that's here. Yeah, so you can see that this is the starting point, right, and then this is the ending point. So clearly the ending point is greater than the starting point, and so the first mark I mentioned to you is always the general trend, and just for the general trend, you just need to compare the end value versus the start value. So the end value is clearly higher than the start value, so therefore oil prices have increased from 2016 to 2021. Okay, so first mark is a general trend. Second mark I mentioned to you is a refinement, right? So refinements, I would say, I think I also mentioned to you that most of the time refinements fall into two categories. The first one is anomalies, and the second one is rates. So for this case, it doesn't feel like there's much to comment about the rate, right? So I'm gonna just erase that. We're gonna go comment on rate. So we're just gonna look at the anomaly, right? So there is an anomaly. The anomaly happens here, right? So from 2018 to 2020, there is a decline in oil prices. You don't have to write sharp, I mean, if you write sharp, I'm also fine with it. Okay, so 1 mark for the general trend, 1 mark for the anomaly. Okay, so that's question A part 1. Then they ask you, hey, you know what is the relationship between oil prices and food prices? So now we need to look at both variables. Food is the dashed line. In your book, it's not in color, but it's dashed line. So then the oil prices have solid line. So what's the relationship between these two? So I mentioned to you that relationship questions, there's only 2 answers, right? So there's only positive relationships. Positive relationships are also known as direct relationships. So you can use both terms interchangeably. And then the other type would be negative relationships. And negative relationships are known as inverse relationships. Yeah. So here you can see very clearly that, this is black color. So when the oil prices go up, food prices kind of rise in tandem. And when oil prices go down, food prices also go down in tandem. So they one kind of follows the other, and so if one follows the other, then clearly it's a direct relationship. Okay, so don't write anything else. You don't need to say, oh, one rise, the other one rise, one fall, the other one fall. You don't need to be lost about it. Just say, oh, is it positive or direct? Is it negative or inverse? Okay, if you write positive, I'm perfectly fine with that. Okay, so just don't be lost about this. Just get your 1 mark and go and move on. Okay, next one. Then they ask you, why now? So you notice that, how come the black color lines, how come the black color lines move in tandem? And then the next one requires you to think more about it. How come when one falls, the other one falls? When one rises, the other one rises? Okay, so there are 2 answers to 2 different ways you can answer this. So we'll talk about the first one. This is the first one. Okay, so so how come oil affects food, or food affects oil? How does that work? So firstly, you got to understand that fossil fuels are used to produce fertilizers and run farm machinery. So if you're running a farm, definitely you're gonna need some oil. So these are important factor inputs. This is a factor input used in agriculture, which they actually mention in extract 1. Okay, so you can signpost just to tell me that, hey, look, this is where I found it. Okay, so if you have a rise in the price of oil, it means that there's a rise in the marginal cost of production for food, right? So again, what's happening? Increase in the price of oil will increase the marginal cost of production for food, right? Because it just costs you more to buy 1 gallon of oil to run your tractors. Suddenly fertilizers become more expensive, right? So your marginal cost of production will increase, and so then supply would fall, right? If the cost of production increases, people tend to be less willing and able to supply that thing, so supply of food would fall. So this is the first chunk, right? So chunk number one, or part one, this is part one, requires you to explain either the demand, or in this case it's supply, so explain the supply factor. A couple of things I want you to take note. I've been iterating this, so just want to make sure that you use technical terms. Okay, use a whole technical term, marginal cost of production. Okay, don't lose marks just because you never put the word marginal. Okay, and then you signpost if you need to. Okay, actually apparently I'm given another answer. I actually prefer this. Okay, so I kind of like the red color answer a lot better because the red color answer is simpler. Okay, but I'll give you the alternative. The alternative is a bit more complicated. Okay, so if you don't want to understand it, it's fine. The red color one is perfectly, it's enough for you. Okay, so second, what's the other one? So if the price of oil increases, the demand for biofuels will increase, right? Because they are substitutes, right? So if oil is very expensive, people switch to biofuels, and when people switch to biofuels, demand for biofuels will increase. Okay, so the demand for biofuels increase, then farmers will grow crops for biofuel. So if you are a farmer, right, you would channel more towards biofuels, and less towards crops, right? And the reason why, reason why this happens is because they share the same factor inputs. Biofuels and crops share the same factor of production, which is the farmer, right, or land, right? So they're in competitive supply, and so when this one increases, necessarily the second one will decrease, so therefore the supply for food decreases. Okay, this is another one you can write. So you can either write the red color one, or you can write the orange color one. Okay, so if you want, I suggest you copy down all these things. So you can just pause the video at any time. You can go copy. Okay, I won't pause the video for you. You can do it on your own time. Yeah. Okay, so this is part one, which is you got to explain the supply factor, right? Okay, I think you know. So you start off with the event, and you go link to demand or supply. So in this case, supply is the thing that you link to. Okay, so I think you all know what's coming up next. They didn't ask you to use diagram. It's 4 marks. So I guess you can take a risk and say maybe let's not draw the diagram. Okay, if you feel insecure, you can draw. If you feel I think this should be fine, then you can just go ahead. So what's next is the adjustment process. Okay, so we're going to do the adjustment process. So again, our supply is falling in both cases. So supply is falling. Okay, so when supply falls, what happens? So if you can't visualize it, I can draw it for you. Basically, when supply falls, it shifts to the left, right? So you start off with S naught, D naught. Initially you are at P and Q. You don't need to draw this, okay? I'm just drawing for you to visualize. So then you supply shifts leftwards. So if you supply shifts leftwards, then the price will go up. Okay. Or if you want to use common sense logic, then when things become more scarce, the prices should go up. Okay. So when you write the adjustment process, you got to write technical terms. So there's a shortage, and it leads to upward pressure. So these are technical terms that you cannot omit. Okay. So when that happens, frustrated consumers would buy and bid up prices. So as the prices increase, QD decreases, QS increases, and so the prices would rise. One more thing you should write here. I didn't write this somehow. Okay, if you draw a diagram, then you need to make the references, but if you don't, then just say the price of food also increases, right? So remember what we started off with. We started off with the price of oil is going up, right? So this causes the supply for food to go down. Sorry. How do I erase this? Okay. So the supply for food will go down, and if you do the adjustment, the price for food will go up. So then you have just very nicely explained why when one goes up, the other one goes up. Okay.